Today's special weekday podcast is entitled, Why is Pelosi Really Against a Payroll Tax Cut? I'll discuss what's really behind her resistance to a payroll tax cut that Trump has been saying he's wanted for quite some time. So I'll discuss that and more right after this.
You are listening to The Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
All right, let's get right into this. So CNN's Wolf Blitzer recently had fellow leftist traveler speaker Nancy Pelosi on his program to discuss President Trump's insistence of a payroll tax cut. Wolf says to Nancy, let me play for you what the president said about all your plans on Sunday, unquote. That was a quote, unquote. So on the video, there's a split screen, CNN split screen. Wolf is on the right, Nancy's on the left. Shocking. So while he's saying this, while he's saying, let me play for you the clip, Nancy is adjusting her earpiece, I guess, but she's also smiling, and she's also snickering kind of under her breath like, Wolf, I already know what you're going to play. So why is she smiling and snickering under her breath? Now, I've got no way to prove this assertion, and it's just an assertion. But I wouldn't doubt at all that CNN already gave Pelosi a heads up on exactly what clip they were going to play so she could be prepared. And to be honest with you, knowing CNN and knowing the Democrats that they're joined at the hip, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that Pelosi and Blitzer collaborated on this and practiced it ahead of time. Like I said, there's no way to find out, but we know for a fact that CNN is just a propaganda arm of the Dems, so they'll do whatever it takes to advance their and the Democrats' agenda, which is the exact same agenda. So here's the clip of Trump.
Let me play for you what the president said about all your plans on Sunday. Listen to this.
You know, they want bailouts for the states, the Democrats, and really it's a number of states that frankly have not been managed well by Democrats over a long period of time. So we have to be very careful about that. Very careful. But we will be doing infrastructure. And I told Steve just today, we're not doing anything unless we get a payroll tax cut.
All right. So the takeaway is, in my opinion, that Trump just doesn't want any more talk of this. Well, I mean, that's the obvious takeaway, that he doesn't want any more talk of the stimulus crap until he's able to give the citizens a payroll tax the way he wanted to in the beginning. And go back and just find the audio or the video, and you'll find that, I don't know how long ago it was that he wanted a payroll tax. And why does he want a payroll tax and the Democrats don't want a payroll tax? Well, because everyone, regardless of income, pays payroll taxes. That little FICA line, on your check. So both the wealthy, at least the waged wealthy, the people who get a paycheck, and the poor will get a tax cut. Not just the wealthy. Anybody who pays, and not just anybody who pays income tax, because the poor may not pay income tax, the working poor, that is, may not pay income tax, but everybody pays the FICA payroll tax. So if you give a payroll tax rather than an income tax cut, then everybody gets a tax cut. But it's more than just that, and I'll explain that further in a bit. So here's Pelosi's obvious rehearsed answer. And I say obviously rehearsed because she's never this coherent. You just watch her when she's doing press conferences and the O's, and she's worse with the U's than I am. So play it, man. Pelosi responds to Trump.
So is a payroll tax cut okay from your point of view, or is it a non-starter?
No, it is not.
And if it is a non-starter, Madam Speaker, why is a payroll tax cut a non-starter?
First of all, this is all to be related to the coronavirus. We have enormous costs, much of it incurred because the president was in denial early on, delayed a reaction to it, caused deaths.
All right, well, that was about typical of Nancy Pelosi. And so Wolf asked her whether a payroll tax is okay with her and the Dems, And Pelosi's answer is obvious and unequivocally no chance. No way anybody's getting any payroll tax. And why, you ask? Well, she says that it's all has to be related to the coronavirus. But you may also notice that she never actually answers the question, and Wolf sure isn't going to say anything like, well, excuse me, Madam Speaker, but could you just answer the question first, and then you can drone on like you always do, talking about absolutely nothing after that. So since she's not going to answer the question, allow me to answer it in her stead. Well, Wolfie, may I call you Wolfie? That would be awesome. A payroll tax will be directly related to the coronavirus. Everybody gets a tax cut. Everybody gets more in their pay, and it's immediate, So unlike some check, it will be an immediate boost to everyone's paycheck. We wouldn't have to sit around and wait and wonder whether our government will get around to sending the one-time stimulus check and when or if it will arrive. I mean, I haven't gotten mine yet. Many people I know haven't gotten theirs. And what happens? For whatever reason, say you don't get the check. You just never get your check. Who in the federal government are you going to call to find out where in the crap it is? I mean, who? Going to call Mnuchin? Hey, where's my check? Like he gives a crap. So, Madam Speaker, as usual, you're wrong again. You're lying, and I'll explain. And you know you're lying, of course, and I'll explain exactly why in a sec. But next, she says that the president was in denial. Really? While he was shutting down international flights to and from China, you were telling everybody to come party in Chinatown. I mean, really? This woman is just insane. And when he was shouting from the rooftops that we need to close the border, you Dems and the press pitched an absolute fit. So who's in denial and already trying to rewrite just the recent history? Let me answer that too. You guys. And then she says Trump caused deaths. Yeah, that's right, Pelosi. Just throw it out there knowing that you'll never get any pushback from old Wolfie. And you know darn well if Trump said the same thing at any time, any place, whatever, and it was picked up by a camera and or a microphone, CNN and the Dems would crucify him, and that would be, frankly, that would be the next article of impeachment after he wins re-election. Sheesh. All right, I think I've probably had about enough of those two. And this is going to be a relatively short podcast anyway. I can hear everybody going, yay! So here's what's really going on, and many of you conservatives already know this kind of stuff, but for you unfamiliar, here you go. Pelosi and the leftists can never afford for anyone to receive a payroll tax cut, but it's basically because they have to be in charge of your money. It's why Woodrow Wilson, I hate that guy with a white-hot passion. That's why he set up withholding tax to begin with, where they take their cut of the money. The government takes their cut of the money before you even receive your paycheck. And the reason is that most people won't miss what you perceive not to be there in the first place. Because most waged employees, the people that receive paychecks, all they see is their paycheck, that bottom line, that line that gives you whatever's printed on their paycheck, and that's how much they make. Most people don't examine just how much the government is fleecing us, how much they're withdrawing out of your paycheck before you even see it. And the Dems know full well that if all of a sudden Joe and Jane Average see that bottom line number go up on their paycheck, they're going to say, wow, this is great stuff, and it's going to be damn near impossible for the government to go ahead and say, okay, coronavirus scare is over, give us the money back. No. If, on the other hand, they just give everyone a handout, you won't expect more, and that's what the politicians who made it up, everybody will be thanking them for their one-time check, and they'll be reelected by the grateful voters that gave him the $1,200 check and $500 for every additional kid or whatever the crap it is. And that's the bottom line. That's why Democrats can never afford to give any of your money back in the form of a tax cut for exactly that reason, because once they give it back to you, it's going to be really hard for them to take it and get reelected, that is. And don't you worry about all that where all the free money comes from. You don't have to concern yourself. There's a grove of money trees that are planted behind the Federal Reserve building, and they just pick off trillions of dollars when they need it and put it into the coffer. So don't concern yourself with that. The bottom line on this is nothing new regarding why the Dems hate tax cuts. It's always for the same reason. As more of the money that we actually earned is returned to us in the form of tax cuts, constitutional power begins to revert back to us, where it was supposed to be in the first place, to the people. And statists like Pelosi and the Dems and CNN and the leftist media and academia and whatnot will simply have none of that. So just always remember, when you hear Dems, or any politician for that matter, fight against tax cuts, that's what they're doing and why they're doing it. It's strictly for power and it's strictly for control. And that's all I got. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Share it if you like. Heck, share it if you don't. Share it if you hate me. Say, man, this guy's a jerk. Listen to this. Whatever. I'm out. See ya.